And we are live from the Covestro live studio. Welcome. I'm Niko Palosua, live from Pittsburgh. And today we have a very special live cast. Again, we get to talk with the amazing students behind Team Sonnenwagen. And that is a group of students from Aachen University in Germany. And they have been participating at the world's toughest solar car event, the World Solar Challenge, since 2017. Now, last time we spoke with them was from the west coast of Africa last October in Agadir. That's when they just crossed the finish line. That was an amazing journey between camels and dunes. And one of the team members, actually, of that challenge is now the team leader, Lina Schwering. And let me put Lina Schwering online right now. Here we go. There is Lina. Good to see you, Lina. And let me get also Lina unmuted so we can actually hear her. There you go, Lina.
Yeah, super cool to be here. Thank you so much.
So fantastic to have you with us. I followed you in Morocco, and I can't wait to hear more about your experiences there. Now, So looking forward. We had some audio issues before, but let's see if we have them fixed by now. Because Covestro has been the main partner of Sonnenwagen now for a few years. I mean, we've seen in Australia the first Covestro Sonnenwagen, that was in 2019. And then we saw last year Covestro Photon.
Yes, exactly. Now we are currently
in Africa. Yes.
Yeah, now we're currently in the process of building Covestro Sonnenwagen 4. It's yet to be baptized properly.
Which is amazing. And while the students of RWTH Aachen are brilliant and highly qualified people, they also need some support and sponsorship. And Covestro is proudly the main partner also of this year's Solar Challenge. And to talk about why that is, let me welcome a fellow solar car enthusiast, Chief Commercial Officer of Covestro, Sucheta Govil. Sucheta, I hope you can hear us, and also we can hear you. And let me again unmute her. Try again, Sucheta.
Well, I could hear you. And I'm hoping you can hear me.
Yes, Sue, we hear you live and well. You always have these issues in whatever live stream, but I'm really happy that the audio goes in both ways. So good to see you, Sue. And last but not least, welcome one further solar car enthusiast within Covestro. And as you can see, we have so many solar car enthusiasts within Covestro. Anne Kutz. I mean, you are managing the collaboration, coordinating the collaboration with the Sonnenwagen here at Covestro. And Anne has a super cool title of Global Platform Cross-Linker. And I'd be lying if I tell you if I would know that would mean, but I'm sure she will let us know. Welcome, Anne. And let me again unmute you as well.
Hi, Nico. Hi, together. It's so nice to be here with you. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, I'm working in our R&D department, so actually I'm a chemist. And very happy to support the Sonnenwagen team.
Which is fantastic. We need chemists. So before I start shooting questions, let me again remind you, our dear audience, that you can join this conversation as well. Just type in your comments, questions, or protests through the chat box, or use Slido by going to slido.com and type in #Photon. So while we were waiting for the live stream to start, we already asked your opinion on what it takes to win a solar car challenge. So it'll be fun to discuss also your thoughts with the panel. Let me just quickly put it up. This is what we have so far from the audience. Special materials, courage, luck, a bunch of good ideas. So there appears to be indeed quite a bit of elements that make for a team to win a solar race. And as far as I know, Sonnenwagen has still yet to win a solar race. So I think that's definitely something to aim for. So Lina, let's start with you. You better than anyone know the harsh but exciting reality of designing a solar car, building a solar car, and then of course in the end racing it. So based on your experience, what does it really take to win a solar car race? And maybe you can share with us a little bit about what were some of your past learnings from past cars.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, it takes 2 years to build this car. So we are committing ourselves for 2 years while we are studying parallel, to our university work to develop this car. I say it takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of tolerance for frustration, because none of this is plug and play. There's plug and play. It takes essentially that. It takes you to stay calm in the most challenging environments where no one has a solution for you. Really, you have to calmly come up with your own solution. And I think that is really what makes or breaks a team, that even if hardship comes, and it will come because a prototype never works in the first trial, you have to get back together and come up with a good solution that can only be found by you guys, because you're the experts on this issue. And so that is what it takes essentially.
And I have some more questions for you, Lina, coming back, because I think many people are excited about, what are some of the elements of the next. Well, it's not going to be photon, I guess, but what are some of the features of the new car? But before we go there, let me, Sue, ask you. I mean, I've seen you on the racetrack. I mean, I've seen you with the students. So you have also deep insights into this team specifically. So, Sue, why are solar cars and solar energy in principle important? And when it comes to new concepts for future mobility, what's your take?
So Nick, why are solar cars so important? And since the beginning of the industrial revolution, basically we've seen that when we talk of mobility, and I'm not just talking when we are walking around, but maybe cars, buses, planes, they are using and depleting a very, very valuable resource, fossil fuels. And the environment does get impacted because of the emissions, as well as the depletion of these very, very scarce resources. And in recent times, also very expensive resources. So the move to electricity and then the move to, say, solar power is super important, because it does mean that we can get into the new age and into the new world, especially through solar, into concepts of mobility and into concepts of development, which de-link from these very, very valuable resources and de-link from harming the environment, especially with useful concepts. And especially with concepts that are very, very important to mankind, but not at the cost of the environment and not at the cost of the absolute havoc that is being created in terms of climate. And then when you take into account all the materials that Covestro can also supply, bio-based materials, innovative recycling technologies, sustainable materials, then this is a fundamental and big step towards full circularity. And that for me is the most exciting and paradigm shift, the move to full circularity.
Which is, I think, an exciting prospect, Sue, to think about, can we really build a fully circular solar car? Which brings me to Anne, because Anne, you are working with our amazing colleagues at Covestro. So what are they actually bringing to the table from your point of view? And also, what in your, if you talk with our colleagues, what's kind of the motivation that they take to take out also their time from their very, very busy daily lives as chemists, as you just say, and focus their energy and attention of developing a solar car?
So with regard to skills, of course, we have a lot of colleagues that have great technical skills. I think they can support the whole team by providing ideas and solutions, taking our materials and finding new areas of applications in the Sonnenwagen car. So this is pretty, I think, the most important skill that we can bring to the team. But I think most of the colleagues are so excited to take part in this journey, not only going to races, taking part there, but also building a car, following the journey of the Sonnenwagen team by the design and production of the car. They are so motivated, and we're quite happy to have the team here, to work with the team. I think we build a very great relationship, and I'm very happy to be part of it. It's just amazing what you do, guys.
Which brings me back to Lina. Where do you believe you can improve? I mean, we've some really dramatic stuff in the past. I mean, you've had actually crashes. You had a crash I was on the edge of my seat looking at and luckily you think about crash worthiness. But what are some of the things of the car that you're looking to improve?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to say that our car proved to be crash safe. Nothing happened to the driver, and I think that throughout the race, it raced 1,000 kilometers before that a very unfortunate event happened. And of course, that's something that we want to improve, is not crash the car, and that's fundamental from what we take into the future. That reliability is a huge factor for us. I think there's always a little bit of an interesting trade-off between reliability and high-tech innovation. I've already explained it's never plug and play, but eventually it should play, and then it should also play it reliably. So yeah, there's something we can improve there. And then when it comes to innovation, we're always looking for new stuff that we want to try. When it comes to material, when it comes to electrical components, when it comes to the aerodynamics of it, there's always space for innovation, and also for making stuff better than what we have. You must not forget, we've only built 3 cars, and it's on one hand it's an only, and it's on the other hand it's an already. We've already built 3 amazing cars, and I think we can take so much from this experience. I really pull off my hats to the first team that built a solar car without any prior knowledge. And I think that we can really benefit from that, and it's really starting to take fruit now that we've learned, and we are no longer beginners.
Cool. Looking forward to the next edition. Let me come back to you, Sue. What really drove you again to continue to sponsor the Sonnenwagen? I mean, can you tell me a little bit about your inner motivation? What drives you to sponsor and cheer the Sonnenwagen going forward? I mean, you've met them also.
Yeah, I was with Lina and the team last year. It was fascinating. It was fascinating being there on the ground. But you asked a very specific question about, why do I believe in the team? Why does Covestro believe in continuing the sponsorship till 2023 and hopefully beyond? So let me pull back a little bit. For me, Team Sonnenwagen, which includes Lina in the lead, is a team of really enthusiastic students at the RWTH Aachen and FH Aachen universities. More importantly, in practically, and I talked about this delinkage from fossil fuels and not harming the environment. Remember that these students will drive this self-built, Lina alluded to it, the self-built solar car across the Australian desert for, I think, over 3,000 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken, without a drop of fuel. And that's fundamentally just a breakthrough. And fortunately, yes, we can support Team Sonnenwagen to participate in the World Solar Race. And we can also support this dedication, this creativity, not only through the sponsorship. The sponsorship is one thing, but also milestones for future mobility, the use of renewable energy, bio-based materials. I talked about that earlier, other cutting-edge technologies. And that's what makes it in this whole pathway to becoming circular. And I know Team Sonnenwagen so supports this, and not just in the concepts, but also in the spirit, in everyone who comes across and cheers the race. that this is fundamentally just a win-win partnership. It's not just a partnership to do with a cool concept. It's a partnership to truly showing the world what is possible.
Yeah, I agree. It's also about showing people, giving them a vision of what it can look like, giving them like kind of challenging the idea of what mobility looks like to get today, and also challenging of what we understand future mobility to be like. Of course, you can stay with the status quo and put a battery inside an SUV and say, okay, now this is sustainable mobility. And I think that there's so much more to it. You see it when it comes to the usage of material. The amount of plastics that can be found in a car today are phenomenal, because it's lightweight, and there are so many advantages to it. But you also need to start a conversation about, okay, how do we build cars, and also how do we use them later on, and when it comes to recycling, etc. I think it's fundamental today to products that you don't only think about the production, but you also think of the end of life scenario for these products. So that's really something where our car maybe can be a conversation starter for at least the point of view of fuel usage and how mobility can look like in the future. And then we can start that conversation together.
That's great to hear, Lina, and I'm sure we'll be following your development of the car and the tests that you're doing. Luckily, you have a very, very colorful and active social media presence, so we're able to follow the journey as it goes forward. But Lina, before we kind of close down for this quick take on the solar car, can you share with the audience what is the timeline now going forward? I mean, we all know the World Solar Challenge is happening next year. So what are kind of the major milestones from here until then, before we see you at the race start line?
Yeah, so right now our development of our fourth generation is in full force. The aerodynamics team is working nonstop. We have the chassis team; they're all in at the moment, as are the structural and the electric department, because we are not only developing the new car, we are also preparing for the European Solar Challenge, where Sucheta visited us last year. It's a 24-hour race in Belgium, which is going to take place in September. It's always amazing, to prove that this concept can also work in Europe. Of course, it's under different circumstances, but equally as fun. And then in November, December, we are starting the actual construction, manufacturing of our car. It's all hand done by us. I think that's also an important thing to mention. We don't outsource any of the production that we have in the car. So it starts with the milling, sanding. We spend hours sanding. We spend hours laying up the car, all the material, the AT team, the ones responsible for our electrics, are soldering. So it's not only developing the car and then passing it on to someone else to build it. No, we also build the car. So that's going to take up until June. And then come June, July, we're going to start testing the new car. After revealing it in our rollout, where we reveal it to the world and let it be free. And then we go into testing, and then we ship it to Australia, and then we race in Australia in October 2023. And it seems so far away, yet it is so close. We have so much to do, but it's very exciting.
Wow. I mean, we just saw some pictures of, you are actually building the car yourself. I mean, just the concept of doing it from scratch on your own is I think amazing. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing what you can do. Truly outstanding. And we can't wait to follow.
I think few are as privileged, to be honest. I think if you're an engineer in a company, you always have a very specific part, but to be able to develop the part and then manufacture the part yourself is something that not a lot of people actually get to experience on that level, and also on that level of high technology that we have in our car. It's really cool.
Cool. And looking at your sponsor list, not only Covestro, but also some other, big name German automotive companies. So I'm sure we and also other colleagues will be looking at you for some of the solution and also inspiration going forward. So that's all the time we have actually reserved for this kind of live session. Thank you very much for joining hear the latest from Lina and Team Sonnenwagen, and stay tuned on this channel as we learn more. Now we actually continue with Covestro employees internally for an internal workshop on designing solar cars. So if that's your passion, one more reason to join Covestro. So thanks everybody for joining this